So we have the last keynote. Okay. So our last keynote speaker is Cong. He's Executive Vice President of BGI Genomics and is in charge of BGI Global Development. And he will provide us with a more international perspective on personalized medicine, namely the Chinese perspective. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very delighted to be here, and thank you again for inviting me to give this talk. I know it's lunchtime, so I think my presentation can give you energy as food, at least lasting for 20 minutes. Which one? Okay. So I used to be complained by the audience by giving too much scientific information. But still, I would like to bring this slide as the first one. I think all of us are very familiar to the physical reports, including the physiological and biochemistry and the image when people got sick, because they would like to know the reason what caused the disease. However, I would say in many cases, the reports we read cannot provide the reason, but actually the reason comes from the genes. So at least in these four areas, the precision medicine, obviously the genes can be practiced into the clinic, diagnosis. So today I'm going to work with you for the women and child health as a good example, which we have done in China. I heard a lot of descriptions about the precision medicine during the conference, but personally, I understood there's several criteria must be measured and looked after carefully, which are the technology, the cost, the population, and the data. So I will show my opinions one by one. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar to this application, non-invasive prenatal testing. So the technology came from in the year 1997 by discovering the fetal circulating cell-free DNA in maternal blood. So after that, the scientists became very interested in finding those aneuploidies like the trisomy 21, 18, and 13 by giving this maternal blood test. So did the Chinese scientists. So since the year 2012, I would say, there were more and more companies in China started to provide the test. Unfortunately, driven by the capital funds, those companies, some of the companies became very greedy and irresponsible. So, but the association in China usually cannot make decision or give very strong influence to this, to this new implication action. So it's usually be managed by the governments. So this, on the other hand, a society wouldn't aware of the lack of regulations already damage the patients and this industry. So in the year 2014, the Chinese FDA, make the decisions to highly regulate the NIPT by getting the CFDA approval. So BGI was the first one to support this decision because we thought it's very important. And thanks to the novel registration process, BGI got this approval within 6 months. Meanwhile, I think all these scientists and industrial players were very interested to know the quality of the test, not only in China, also in the other countries. So there was a third party giving an assessment to those important players globally in the year 2015, and for the comparisons among the test performance, you can see, so BGI was representing the technology from China, so we got really bad, I think we got the best performance among those players. So if this technology can be approved, and the next things people need to think is the cost. So if it's affordable or not. So at that times, you can see the end user prices across the countries. So in China, it's like 1/3 of the international market somehow. But I think all of us knows that in larger, the numbers of users can dramatically reduce the cost. So, but by the proper way. So BGI collaborated with multiple centers. So we found that the NIPT was not only suitable for the high-risk pregnancies, but also good to the low-risk pregnancies. So this evidence gives a very strong confidence to the Chinese government that somehow they can start to implement this technology to the public health. So I will give you the examples how the Shenzhen model to be created. Because the BGI, the company locates in Shenzhen. It's a very young city with only 35 years old. You can imagine there are not so many old people in the city. So relatively, the financial pressures to the municipal governments is relatively low than the others. So for this, policy makers, they're always thinking what the new technology can be implemented, can be benefits to the citizens. So then they talk to BGI from the year 2011, and okay, so we wanted to try this new technology and make this new technology to be to be available to all the public. So here, those are all the public documents from the different level of governments, give you ideas how did they work. So usually when people want to have a new things, including the test, we have a reference from the pricing authority. This is very unique in China. So the pricing authority will only give a suggestions or the maximally pricing they can charge to the end user. So they did the first one. This is the first documents. And because this is a women's health, so it's a very priority, for the politicians. So they aligned among the different ministries, like the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Human Resources, and the Social Security. And they said, okay, this is a clinic research can can be tried in the city Shenzhen. And after that, they did the second trial, and they enlarged the populations to the different criteria of pregnancies. So finally, in the year 2017, technically last year, okay, they said everything has been proved. So it's ready for the all population. So what I said is some benefits to the individual, but to the society, what's the benefit we can see from this? So these two curves shows the Down syndrome occur rates and the lead birth rates separately from the up and from the above and the down. Given by the second triad policy, you all know that the maternal age, pregnancy age, increased a lot. So the Down syndrome's occur rates increased dramatically in the year 2016. In the orange color, but in the gray color is the lead birth rate. You can see it went down. So for the company and for the administrative, we only informed the family the condition of the fetus. So all the decision made by the family themselves. So that's the way how we educate, how we practice day to day. So for somehow, by this mean, compared to the cost of the other countries, so the Shenzhen already paid by the social medical insurance. You may got information from the last slide. It's a co-payment between the local financial budget and the medical insurance. So can this model become, sustainable or scalable? I think the answer is yes. And we already implemented this philosophy in different ways into more than 20 provinces in China. So I will give you some examples. Like the Shenzhen, the model is very transparent. It's a co-payment between the insurance and the financial budget. And for some cities, the financial budget covers all this cost, and asking BGI to give the price 1/3 of the list price. So, and it's really benefits to the woman. And there are also some exceptions, but I think it's very interesting. For example, in one city, the government said, okay, I paid the bill for 3 years only. And they gave the information and opportunity to the pregnancies. Okay, you can try this new technology. After 3 years, when we look at the numbers of the pregnancies who received the test, and in the year 4 and the year 3, we found there's no drop-off. Means people realized this benefits, and they can pay very little money, and they used to this new technology. So, BGI was talking to the local ministries and local governments to try to, give a very customers, financial solutions to make sure this test can be right properly to the local, population. I think you can understand this test was mainly focusing on the fetus, but in the meantime, we were able to look at the whole information of the pregnancies. The mothers can be investigated. So you see, this is the new publications, last month on cells. By analyzing the 140,000 samples out of these 3 million samples, and this is the first, big data, Chinese populations, and showing the genetic associations among different nationalities, and the viral infections and so on. So people might ask why you only get 140,000 out of these 3 million, because we gave them the consent inform and tell them, okay, we will have this further discovery, and to whoever wants to participate, and we get recruitment. So that's why the numbers are huge difference. So what is more? I have to apologize. I need to go back to the technology again. So the NIPT, so by the BGI's technology, every single person gets only 1.2 giga data. So what if we sequence more? I mean, not for the day-to-day clinic practice, but for the scientific research. Then we give idea to sequence about 1 terabyte data rather than 1.25 gigabit data. So what can be detected? So we projected the different scenarios with the amount of data. So you see, from the 1 giga data to 1,000 giga data, we will be able to find the different informations from the, including the biomarker detections, including the fetal genome and the maternal and the infant's genome, even the whole family genomes. So our aim is to cross the limits to these unknowns, gene or related disorders. So this is really, really scientific research purpose. So I would like to make a conclusion why we can have this Shenzhen model, we say, so successful. I think there are 3 reasons. The first, the technology. The first human genomes was sequenced from the year 1999, and it costed $3 billion. And due to the, we say, super Moore's law, and you can see the red line, the gene sequencing cost dropped dramatically from the year 2009 till now. So I think the one genome resequencing price is more or less about $300 compared to $3 billion, like 20 years ago. And then, as a company, so BGI has our own capability to lower the price continually. So this is our new sequencers. So we can produce 7 terabytes data per day. And lastly, thanks to the supports and open-minded governments in Shenzhen and other regions, so the company was able to, to incorporate, to make this come true. So thank you for your attention.